The times are getting increasingly modern. Days certainly bring its own impact for the whole society and the world, both a positive impact or a negative impact. One of the things that most get a variety of impact or effect is in the field of technology, and technology is the Internet. Both of these are namely Internet technologies and provides all the conveniences for a human being, including in carrying out all kinds of daily activities. However, the technology and the Internet are growing also brought negative influences. One example is with the presence of a hacker with the science as well as its own special abilities. They can do several things, including breaking into and do a good individual data theft or corporate data. The following are some cases that ever done by hackers and lead to losses on the parties concerned. TTHE case of break-ins on the Sony PlayStation Network. Sony PlayStation Network got a huge loss due to attacks from hackers. This occurs in mid-April last year. That case resulted in his PlayStation Network system exploited by hackers and data users being leaked, and caused damage to the services. Attack of the hackers also caused the spread of personal data such as name, credit card numbers, and passwords from around 77 million user accounts Sony PlayStation Network service. Information Commissioner's Office (ECO) United Kingdom later investigated as to how cases of break-ins on the security system can occur. Due to the mistake of the official Sony due to security are not managed properly, the ECO filed charges on Sony, fines totaling around Rp 3.8 billion. Exactly so, problems instead of the sum of fines proposed. However, due to the case against the Sony party resulted in a reduction of the number of users of the Sony PlayStation Network service that is very significant. This occurs because the user does not believe will be its services. Sony then briefly shut down its services over the next few weeks and repaired damage that occurred. Sony also gave compensation to those users who have become its customers during this time in an effort to restore his confidence. Sweden's Nordea Bank break-ins. Nordea Bank became bank theft victim committed by hackers, who reportedly is a group of Mafia Russia is through the Internet. The hacker uses a program known as a Trojan. The Trojan is a type of virus that can deceive computer users with how to impersonate other files are safe. For example, in a computer, there is an existing Word documents and email. It turns out that when the file is opened, because computer users think that file contains the usual Word file, the content in it is a Trojan virus that can damage your computer by way of a track and send vital information, including user ID and password, to the party, which was deliberately to do break-ins. Hackers are using the program to keep track of data and activities conducted through the Internet, where clients were initially duped clients by way of the virus as an anti-spam, and is a program that is sent by the bank. The purpose of the hacker to get the data from the customer is handing the funds in the customer account to another account. Through this, the perpetrators of Trojan virus can take down the banking activities performed only by using the client computer. Although simple, the way it works from a case of burglary is 250 Bank Nordea, which has become a victim. Total theft of funds from the customer any arguably quite a lot, that is reached Rp 12 billion. Sumitomo Mitsui Bank fraud case. In 2004, the then bank burglary committed by hackers via the Internet is also experienced by Sumitomo Mitsui Bank. The bank is the Bank of Japan origin. However, the robbery he commits are performed in the branch located in London, United Kingdom. The hackers use spyware Keylogger named. Keylogger is a software that can be used to record the results of typing and later can be saved as a file sharing purposes. This time, the hackers use it to steal data and passwords from the Sumitomo Mitsui Bank by breaking into the bank's security system. They even managed to steal money amounting to Rp 5 trillion, and share them on 10 different bank accounts with the aim to secure the results of Kyriania. The case was successfully resolved by police of United Kingdom and Israel. Israel police get involved because a raid on one of the suspects, named Israel Film Robbery, he commits on Belandi, 32, when he was trying to send $27 million to one of the banks in Israel. The case of break-ins using Bitcoin currency. The currency of the Bitcoin is an electronic currency created by Satoshi Nakamoto in 2009. Bitcoin and his way of using this digital storage that differs from other currencies, using digital wallets, or they call it the wallet. Therefore, to maintain the security of the owner requires a private key known only by the owner and can be stored on the computer. It has some threat to owners and users, especially in terms of storage. Such threats in the form of theft of private key which can result in Bitcoin can disappear. The case of the break-ins occurred at an online wallet provider named Inputs.io in November 2013 then, resulting in considerable losses for the customer. It is done by hackers who use email contains viruses which can then create a system error on the main server, which then also resulted in Bitcoin of 4,100 BTC or if in rupiah of Rp 15 billion can successfully stolen. Until recently, however, it is difficult to find who the thief Bitcoin from Inputs.io. Because basically, Bitcoin is indeed vulnerable to theft. Especially in terms of storage, because the Bitcoin is indeed a currency that is difficult to track. The case of break-ins customer data TJX companies. TJX is an American company engaged in the retail industry, and focus on the retail clothing and home decor products in America. In 2007, a hacker who was already well known and considered legendary named Albert Gonzalez managed to steal 45.7 million credit card and debit card from the TJX customers. This occurs because of the weakness of the system of protection of customer information from TJX itself. It also results in Rwanda became a victim of data theft from hackers. They are trying to hunt down and get information such as credit card information that later can be sold and gave the advantage to them. Even from the sales results, the perpetrator of the theft of TJX customer data has been used to buy jewelry worth $1 million. Cases of theft through customer data break-ins as experienced by TJX is becoming popular because of the nature of legal protection which is considered still weak. Solutions so that such cases do not happen again is not as easy as it's giving our personal information and data to other people. The case of the theft of data of the population of Arizona, USA. Hackers are indeed always have a way to do harm through cyberspace. Not only on big companies and banks, it turns out that the population can become their target. Residents of Arizona, for example. Based on existing reports, from roughly 100,000 citizens of Arizona, there are 149 population data and personal identity has successfully stolen by hackers. The data theft results utilized for the benefit of the negative. After getting the data from citizens, hackers can easily impersonate the tax offender, which he later hijacked and receive tax refunds which should belong to the citizens of Arizona. The action performed by the hacker could give him an advantage of up to tens of millions of dollars. That is some cases hacker attacks most mentioned and throughout history. The majority of the hackers do it for the sake of personal interests in a manner detrimental to others, even detrimental to large companies that certainly has the power for many people. However, in the world of technology hackers cannot always the villain's data. There are some hackers who malacony his work on the right path.